The full moon in Libra happening on March 28th is all about relationships and the balance that we need to have in those relationships. Whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, or even whether it's family or coworkers, healthy relationships are when both parties or all parties involved have their needs met. This full moon is going to be a little dramatic because it's going to show us where we've been experiencing imbalances in these relationships. Brace yourselves because there may be some information that comes out that's not going to be too comfortable. Want to know more? Keep watching and I'll explain all about it. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and as always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality, so if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves, this is going to be the astral forecast and tarot message for the full moon in Libra happening on March 28th. So this is the first full moon of the new astrological year, and we're kicking things off with relationships. That is going to be the theme of this full moon. And we're all going to be experiencing a certain amount of enlightenment when it comes to relationships, whether that pertains to our partners or whether it pertains to ourselves and how we show up in relationships. So it should be very interesting. All right. So first things first, let's get into the astrology. So full moons are when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. This is in contrast to new moons when the moon and the sun are conjunct. So this sort of creates this tug of war sort of energy between our emotions and our ego, thoughts, etc. And like I said, this full moon is taking place in the relationship realm because the axis that this full moon is sort of working on is the Aries and Libra axis, which again is the relationship axis. So as far as the astrology is concerned, we've got the moon in Libra, which is going to be at 8 degrees. And on the opposite end, we have the sun in Aries at 8 degrees, which is going to be conjunct Venus and conjunct Chiron, which are also going to be at 8 degrees. So 8 is definitely the magic number when it comes to this full moon. And if any of you have watched my previous full moon video, so this would have been the full moon in Virgo, which was last month, I said something that wasn't necessarily true. It's also the last full moon in a series of full moons that have been at the 8th degree. So I really thought that full moon was the last full moon at the 8th degree. Like I said, we've been having full moons at the 8th degree for quite a few months. But yeah, I was wrong. This full moon is also at 8 degrees. And like I said, 8 is the magic number. 8 is the Scorpio degree. It's about things being uncovered. It's about getting very deep, and it's about getting to the truth of the matter. And again, this is all playing out in our relationship sector. Now, depending on where this full moon is happening in your chart, it doesn't mean that this is going to play out with respect to your romantic relationships. This just means relationships in general. So this could be amongst friends, family members, people that you work with. It all depends on where this is going down in your chart. So you'll want to take a look at your natal chart and see how all of this is playing out to get a better idea of how the full moon is going to affect you personally. But regardless, like I said, the theme of this full moon is relationships, and it's also balance within those relationships. Now, when you add Venus and Chiron to the mix, Venus is all about relationships. So regardless of the fact that this full moon is taking place along the relationship axis of Aries and Libra, we also have Venus in the mix, which is like adding extra energy, extra emphasis on relationships, and particularly what we value in relationships, what is important to us, what are our criteria when it comes to relationships, what's important with respect to us, like self-love, self-care, and how that factors into relationships. That's sort of the color that Venus is adding to this full moon. And then when you add Chiron, Chiron is all about healing. Chiron is a comet that's located between Saturn and Uranus. And it's typically thought of as being the wounded healer, meaning that it shows us where our vulnerabilities are. It shows us where our wounds are so that we can heal them and in turn heal others. And so with this being conjunct, with Chiron being conjunct Venus and the sun, opposite the full moon, there is this element of healing that is very important and that's going to be highlighted with this full moon. So that being said, expect to be triggered. Expect your emotions to run high. I mean, emotions run high during full moons anyway, but the fact that we've got Chiron in the mix is going to sort of make things a little elevated. It's going to show us where our shortcomings and where our wounds are, bring them up to the surface so that we can really address them, release them, and heal them, okay? And the fact that this is, again, all going down to the Scorpio degree, this is stuff that's really deep-seated. These are repressed emotions, wounds that maybe you haven't addressed in a long time, wounds that may have a very big and profound effect on you. These are the things that are going to come up with this full moon, again, so that you can address them, release them, and finally get the healing that you need. Like I said in that previous video, the Virgo full moon, all of these full moons are happening at the 8th degree because there's a lot of emotional gunk that we need to clear out. And it's not going to happen in just one session. That's why I feel like we've had these back-to-back full moons at the 8th degree, because we've got to clear out a lot of stuff and get ready for where we're headed, right? Where we're headed as a society, where we're headed in our own personal development. So this is all cleanup time. This last couple of months have been cleanup time, so that again, we can get ready for what's to come, all right? And interestingly enough, this full moon also has some help from Saturn. So Saturn in Aquarius at the 11th degree is going to be sextile to the Sun, Venus, and Chiron in Aries, and it's going to be trine to the full moon in Libra. Now, what all this jargon means is that Saturn is going to give us some assistance. So what that may look like is Saturn may provide stability for the stuff that we are dealing with, meaning that if you do the work to heal those wounds, if you do the work to heal yourself or maybe your relationships, all of that work is going to stick. So it's not going to be the case where you do something now and then 6 months later, you're still dealing with the same bullshit that you've been dealing in your relationships. Saturn is going to allow things to stick and to crystallize and to form sort of a new structure around the work that you're doing now. So keep that in mind. So any of this emotional work that you're doing, it's not in vain. And it's not to say that because of the presence of Saturn, that's why things are going to work out. Again, we're all doing this clearing so that we can have a light body. We can be free and clear of the emotional baggage and gunk that we've been carrying so that we can fully enjoy ourselves and fully enjoy where we're going as a society. And like I said, in our personal development. So to recap, we've got the Sun, Venus, and Chiron at the 8th degree of Aries. All three of those are conjunct. That is going to be opposite to the full moon in Libra, which is also at 8 degrees. And then we've got Saturn in Aquarius at 11 degrees, which is going to sextile Sun, Venus, and Chiron in Aries, and trine the full moon in Libra. I know that's a mouthful, but just know that whatever work is done with respect to relationships, whatever work is done with respect to our personal development is going to stick. But just know that there's going to be some emotional turmoil. There's going to be issues surrounding either your partner or you. And, it's going to be kind of intense, because it's going to trigger you. It's going to make you feel things that maybe you haven't felt in a long time. It's going to bring things up that you've maybe swept under the rug. So again, if you do the work, it'll stick and you'll be much better for it. Now, I also noticed something interesting with respect to the astrology. And like I said, this is all about balance. So this could be how this plays out, how this full moon plays out, is that it's really about, you against your partner. That's what this tug of war is. It's you on the one side, your partner on the other. And how do you find a middle ground? Now we've got a lot of planets and we've got a lot of energy in the Aries area of the chart. So I feel like there has been perhaps a lot of emphasis on you and your needs, what you need, how you show up, and maybe less emphasis on your partner or what they need or how you've been addressing their needs. So I feel like that may be sort of how this plays out for many of us. Like we've been taking care of us, we've been doing our own personal development, and that sort of makes sense when you think about the astrology because we've gone from Pisces season, which was very much about us withdrawing, it's very much about us sort of going within, doing some emotional clearing. It's a very sort of solitary energy. And now we're in Aries season where the focus is us, where we're thinking about our own needs, desires, our own bodies and things like that. And then all the way on the other side, we have our partners and maybe we're not addressing them at the moment, or maybe we haven't been addressing them in the past, right? And again, this isn't just romantic partners. This is gonna be friends, family, you get the deal. So maybe this full moon is going to show us where we've been experiencing shortcomings in respect to what our partners need or what our relationship as a whole needs in order to be healthy and to move forward. Okay. So that's kind of how this is going to play out. And it's nothing we can't handle. It may be emotionally intense. Full moons always are emotionally intense. But again, this is sort of to get you on the right footing and to restore balance in your relationships. Because I get the sense that a lot of us, our relationships have been like this. They've been one-sided. And now this full moon is going to shine a whole big light on everything so that you can finally tip the scales and everything can get back to the status quo and the way that they need to be. All right. So that has been the astrology of this full moon. Now let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for us for this full moon. All right, so we're going to start out with an oracle card for an overarching message and then get into the tarots for some more specific stuff. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. So I always love to use this Queen of the Moon oracle. Like I can't speak highly enough about this deck. I always use it for my moon series videos because it always gives such a great message. So let's see what message we have for this full moon in Libra. All right. And this is will. And what number is this? This is a number 13. Very interesting. 13 is the number of the divine feminine. It's a very feminine number. It has very feminine energy to it. So let's read from the book and see what this is about. Okay. Will. Decisions require action. You are in control of your own decisions and life. No one else is. Passion and will determine a great proportion of your success. You will persist. You possess free will, which means you should focus on yourself first and avoid placing your will over another's. Interesting. Wasn't I just talking about this with respect to the theme of this full moon? It's about us on one side and our partners on the other, or our family or our friends on the other. And I want to repeat this. It says you possess free will, which means you should focus on yourself first and avoid placing your will over another's. So when it comes to relationships, a lot of times we want to direct how things go, right? It's like if things are over here, sometimes we maybe want to direct them this way, or maybe we want to reflect them back this way. Like a lot of times we like to exert our control over people, places, and things in order to feel comfortable, right? But you have to remember that everyone, regardless of what relationship you're in, everyone has free will, and you can't overstep anybody's free will, right? Rather than change somebody, all you can do is change yourself. And if they are aligned to you, then they will change to attune to your frequency or get on the same wavelength as you. But you can't just exert your will on someone else and force them to do something. That's not how healthy relationships work. And I feel like this full moon may show some of you where maybe you're trying to exert too much control. Maybe you're so focused on your own needs and having your partner address your needs, maybe even in a particular way, that you're trying to really direct how the relationship goes or what your partner does or says, which is attributing to this imbalance that your relationship may be suffering at this time. So this full moon is reminding you that everyone, including yourself, including your partner's friends, family, coworkers, have free will, and you cannot overstep anybody's free will, okay? So keep that in mind. So I've picked 3 count them, 3 oracle cards. And these are from the, I want to show you this deck because it's dope. This is from the Price of Love Oracle by Crystal Banner. And I'm actually going to put the link in the description box below. I use these cards for any love readings, anything having to do with relationships, because they're seriously on point. So I picked 3 to give us a general flavor of what this full moon is going to mean for us and what the energy is going to be like. So the first card we have is Fate. And what number is this? This is 19. So 1 and 9 make 10, which reduces to a 1, which is a new beginning. So for some of you, there is a new beginning that is fated for you, but you know what precedes a new beginning, right? It's an ending. So there may be an ending to a relationship. And the fact that this video is a general reading, right? I feel like there is definitely a large amount of people who may be experiencing an ending to a relationship, or an ending to a part or portion of a relationship, or certain aspects of a relationship at this time. And that's okay, because endings, they leave room for new beginnings. You can't have a new beginning if, you know, there's no room for it. So know that if you're experiencing an ending, it's fated, because you need to have that void to be filled by something better, or shouldn't even say better. You need to have a void so that it can be filled with something that maybe you're more well suited for. Let's say that. All right. But for some of you, this full moon may signify an ending. And remember what I said about full moons generally. Full moons illuminate. Okay. And I think I might have skipped this part, but I want to repeat this even if I said it before. Full moons do one of 2 things. They either show you the culmination of things done in the past, or they show you things that have been hidden. So with respect to the first point, think back to the Libra new moon 6 months ago during Libra season, which was also about relationships. At that time, you may have planted seeds with respect to a relationship. Some of you may have been contemplating ending a relationship. Others may wanted to have taken the relationship to the next level. Those are the seeds and the intention that you set at that time. So at this full moon in Libra, that's when you're going to see the culmination of that. So if you wanted a relationship to end, perhaps now you have an ending. Okay. For others of you, if you wanted to take your relationship to the next level, maybe now you're seeing it, you know, you're engaged, you're moved in, you know, you get the deal. All right. The other way that full moons operate is that they show you things that have been hidden. So for some of you, this ending of a relationship may be preceded by some information, something that is faded, right? Something may come to your attention that does not sit well with you. If you're talking about a romantic relationship, maybe someone has cheated. Maybe someone has been disloyal. Maybe someone has been dishonest. Okay. And now that's coming to light under this full moon. That is sort of getting you to end the relationship, or that is ending the relationship. The fact that this card has faded means that it's sort of like this almost external energy that's causing these situations to happen so that there can be an ending. And like I said, so that you have a void that can be filled with something that's more suited for you. All right. Next, we've got drama. So yeah, so something is coming out during this full moon that may be dramatic. With the presence of this mask, I'm laughing because my spirit guides are just like, someone hasn't been wearing their mask and got the virus. Maybe that's what's affecting your relationship. I don't mean to laugh at that because that's not funny. It's just the way that it came to me that was just wild. But the presence of this mask could mean that someone is being dishonest. Someone has been perpetrating a fraud. Someone has been wearing a mask, and now you're figuring out who they really are underneath. But regardless, it's going to be dramatic. Okay. It's going to be dramatic. Also, for those of you who have this full moon in Libra going down in their 5th house, and the 5th house governs children. It also governs romantic partners. You're going to want to pay extra attention because I feel like those that have this full moon in Libra going down in your 5th house, you may be experiencing a lot of drama. Okay. I just want to forewarn you so that you can sort of brace yourselves for it. All right. And then finally, we've got wild card. This is a very interesting message I'm getting here right now, because this is letting me know that almost like expect the unexpected. With the presence of this wild card, and it is number 5, which is all about change. Something is changing that's sort of unexpected. I don't get the sense that it's rapid fire or something like completely shocking, but I do think it's something a bit unexpected that you weren't expecting. I guess that's the definition of unexpected, right? That you're not expecting, or that sort of out of left field, okay? So I want y'all to brace yourselves, because again, full moons can be, they can be very emotionally intense. And if you've got drama and unexpected things going on, it can be quite uncomfortable. For some of you, this drama is centered around someone trying to exert their will on you, or vice versa. But I feel like someone may want to rebel, especially with the presence of this wild card here. If someone has been trying to exert their will on someone else, I feel like at this full moon, the person who has been feeling oppressed is going to like rebel, and they're just going to be like, listen, I can't do this anymore. Something's going to explode perhaps. You know, any of those kind of things are really up for grabs with this full moon, especially with this message I'm getting right now. All right, so let's get some tarot cards and get some more clarification. So let's get some clarification on this Fate card. Okay, we've got two. We've got the King of Swords and we've got the Empress. All right, so for some of you, this full moon means that you're going to be giving birth. A lot of births happen around the full moon. So if that's the case, congratulations. For others of you, this ending may have to do with someone getting someone else pregnant. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you because that's exactly what I'm seeing right now. But it's fated, meaning that this unborn child, they are meant to sort of come about at this time and in this way. And so it's something that you couldn't stop, that you can't stop, and it sort of just has to mark the end of your relationship. And if that's the case for you, I am sorry, because I know that is a very difficult thing to undergo, okay? For others of you, it's sort of the opposite. I see a King of Swords. This could be an air sign, so that's Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Or just someone who is very pensive, someone who is mature, someone who thinks a lot, big brain kind of person. This is someone who may want to start something with you. They may want to birth a new relationship with you that is also fated. So I see two different messages here. I see an ending having to do with a child, and I see a beginning that has to do with creating a new relationship. So take it as it resonates, okay? All right, let's finish out this message here, okay? Let's finish out this message here, right? Oh, we've got gift. So like I said, this child that's coming about, it's really a gift. And if you are experiencing an ending, okay, it's really a gift. It's a blessing in disguise. Because now, like I said, you have a void that can be filled with something sorry, I'm tongue-tied. You have a void that can be filled with something that's much better for you, or that you're better suited for. But regardless, whether this is an ending or a beginning, it is truly a gift. And why? Because it's fated. That's spirit at work, right? When spirit's at work, it's always for your highest good, whether it feels good or doesn't in the moment, all right? So let's get some clarification on this drama card. Let's get a card out here for that. Okay. Oh, we've got Five of Swords. This talks about defeat, okay? This talks about this is also the card that I associate with selfishness, all right? So someone, either you or your counterpart, take it as it resonates, may be very selfish right now. Someone may be having all of their needs met. They're feeling good. I don't know if you can see it in this card. If you can see this person all the way in the back, they look joyful. They've won, right? There's a clear winner and a loser here, and that shouldn't be the case in a healthy relationship. There needs to be some sort of balance. And so this is creating this drama that you may be experiencing because someone is completely full and someone else is completely depleted, okay? And you're going to want to address that. And I feel like the full moon is going to give you the opportunity to do that, all right? Let's get another card on here to finish out this message. Yeah, we've got bad health. The stability and the state of your relationship is not good. So for those of you who resonate with that message, you already know that your relationship has not been going well, clearly. Because if there is this clear imbalance between you and your partner's needs being met, obviously you've been feeling the inadequacy of this relationship. And so this gives you a choice. And this goes back to the message of will. You have the free will to do what you want, right? And knowing that your relationship is not in a healthy state, it's clearly not a healthy relationship if the card that came out is called bad health. You have the choice. You've got free will to walk away. I get the sense that for those who resonate with this message, you may feel that you need to stick in this relationship for some particular obligation. Maybe kids, maybe because you're married. If you're talking about non-romantic relationships, this could be a business partnership that's completely imbalanced. This may be a friendship where someone is like sucking the energy out of you. You know, take it as it resonates. But feel free to walk away. You have the free will to do whatever you want. I mean, I don't know why you would want to stay in a relationship that sounds like that. But again, you have the free will to do whatever you like. So use this full moon and the energy of the full moon to allow you to see things that maybe you haven't noticed or you haven't paid attention to, so that you can figure out which way you want to go. And at least this full moon is going to show you the true state of your relationship, because as we saw with this card before, all masks are off. Okay, all masks are off. So you're going to see things exactly for what they are. So use that information and decide what you want to do. All right. And then finally, let's get some clarification on this wild card. Okay, we got two here. We've got the World. And we've got the Two of Swords. And this is sort of almost like a continuation of this last message that I just gave. There is an ending that is very imminent. So there is an ending of a complete relationship or an aspect of a relationship that has come, like this relationship has come full circle. And Two of Swords talks about not being able to make a decision. Okay. And so for some of you, this drama, this unexpected happening that is likely to happen around the full moon, some of you are still going to be in limbo. Should I stay? Should I go? And again, I get the sense it's because you feel some sort of obligation to this relationship. But again, you've got free will. So exercise it. Don't stay stuck in this sort of energy, this energy of indecision, because if you notice, she's got the blindfold on and she's got these birds that are sort of attacking her. And that's sort of how it's almost like the energy of the other person or the energy of the relationship in general. It's sort of attacking you. I feel like, look at these two cards together. Okay. And the Five of Swords with the Two of Swords makes Seven of Swords, which is about deception. Mask, right? Deception. There is deception afoot here. Right? Look at how he looks. He looks like he's been knocked over the head. She's being attacked by these birds. So you sort of get what this energy is just by the look of these cards. You don't want to stay in that sort of energy because it's not going to serve you. You don't want to stay in a situation that is completely imbalanced. And that is why this full moon is going to be the way that it is, because it's really going to show you what's really going on. So you can make a decision and finally close out a cycle that maybe has been overdue. Maybe you've needed to end this relationship and you haven't. And this full moon is going to be like, all right, I see you're not making any sort of moves. I'm going to show you what things really look like so you can really like to light a fire under your ass in a sense. Okay. So let's get one card here to close out this message. Okay. We've got expectation. So either you or your partner are sort of just waiting for things to get better. Like you see, she's just sitting there. She's not doing anything. She's just looking out the window, waiting for someone to come up, waiting for something amazing to happen outside of the window. And I'm here to tell you that it's not going to happen. You've got to use, again, your free will in order to make a move. Don't just sit and expect your partner to change. This also goes back to the message I was saying before about exerting your willpower on someone else. Don't just sit there and exert your willpower on someone else waiting for them to change or changing the situation that way. It's only going to backfire later on. It's only going to cause drama later on. The only thing you can change is yourself. So take that message and run with it with this full moon, because this is going to be eye-opening. All right. So I want to pull one last card to close out the reading from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck so that we get hopefully a nice affirmation or message to close out this reading. Oh, a change in the wind. All right. And I love that this is a 12, which reduces to a 3. 3 reminds me of the Holy Trinity, right? It reminds us to leave room for spirit. Okay. And that's sort of what's going on here. Things are changing, especially with the presence of this Fate card. It lets you know that spirit is in on this. And things are changing in this particular relationship. And you got to kind of roll with the punches, but you've got to really open your eyes and see the reality of things and how things may be imbalanced, how things may not make that much sense, how things may be oppressive, or how things are just not right? Because change is here. And you have to exercise your free will when it comes to this particular relationship and decide what you want to do, because this full moon is going to show you exactly what's going on. All right. So hopefully, it's not too much for you guys. Hopefully this isn't too intense or too dramatic, right? Ooh, I wanted to show you something. This is drama, which is a 5. Wild card, which is a 5. And then we've got change in the wind. So something is seriously changing right now, but for the better. And I can't stress this enough. When there are endings, it leaves a void that can be filled with something better. So remember that during this full moon, when things are intense or when things are being shown to you that may be uncomfortable, it's ultimately for your highest good. All right, my loves, that has been the Astro forecast and tarot message for the full moon in Libra, which is again happening on March 28th. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. Speaking of readings, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below, so don't forget to check those out. And while you're checking things out, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead where I do something just like this. It's a quick and dirty astro forecast and tarot message for the upcoming week. So follow me there so you don't miss any of that. As always, my loves, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. If you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, and tips are always greatly appreciated, I'll leave that link in the description box as well. Happy full moon, my loves. Remember, you have free will and you can change your situations, although you cannot change those around you. So don't exert your free will on other people, all right? Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys next time.